Straight ahead on Good Morning Arizona, authorities continue to investigate the suspected gunman in the Colorado theater shooting. This after removing an arsenal of explosives from his apartment. We are now learning he has been probably planning this attack for months.
And here in the valley, rescue crews spent the night at Echo Mountain after a man fell 40 feet. How they were able to get him out is coming up.
And the monsoon season comes to the valley once again. More dust blowing through. It's all straight ahead right now, right here on Good Morning Arizona. Thanks for waking up with us, everyone. I'm Tess Raffles.
Yep, I'm Ryan O'Donnell. Good morning. Happy Sunday.
Were you caught up in that yesterday?
I was a little caught up, although I was at the D-backs game, and we basically kind of scurried in before it really hit downtown Phoenix.
We got to the Diamondback game right before it hit, apparently. But leaving, definitely caught up in the rain.
Yeah, you couldn't miss it. If you were outside at all, you probably felt it. Yeah,
it was nice to at least get that break from the heat. We're going to catch up with Brittany and more on your forecast, pictures from the monsoon in just a moment. But our top story this morning, people still reeling from the mass shooting and a midnight movie premiere in Aurora, Colorado.
Yeah, police say a former med student was behind the gunfire, and now we're learning he might have been planning this attack for months. 24-year-old James Holmes is accused of shooting into a crowded theater early Friday morning. 12 people killed, 58 others hurt. Holmes now in police custody, being held in solitary confinement for his own protection. Now, just yesterday, bomb experts removed an arsenal of explosives from his apartment.
This morning, we want to go to Mike Wackus, who is live in Colorado with the very latest developments. Mike, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, Tish. Yeah, good morning from Aurora, Colorado. I want to share with you the headline on the Denver Post. Everybody is hurting. It's a simple statement and so accurate on this Sunday morning. This is a day when we're getting a lot more of the questions answered, a lot more of the pieces of this terrible puzzle and drama falling into place. Now have a complete list of the 12 people who were killed inside that movie theater just behind us on early Friday morning. One of them, of course, Alexander Tavis, a young man whose family lives in Ahwatukee. Finding out the oldest victim, a 51-year-old father, the youngest victim, a cute little girl named Veronica Moser, only 6 years of age, and then the other people, usually most of them young adults, all of them with the heartbreaking stories, poignant stories, a guy celebrating his birthday. Going to that movie, his first-year wedding anniversary would have been today, we believe. So these stories will just tear your heart out when you hear the histories and the stories behind all of these victims. Much of our day with cameraman Gibby Parra was spent over at that apartment of the suspected shooter, James Holmes, as the bomb squads and the firefighters surrounded it and tried to remove all of those hazardous materials, all of the explosive devices that had been rigged inside that apartment. They made that an all clear late yesterday so the homicide investigators could get in there and start their work. But we talked to a well-known face from the Valley of the Sun, an ATF special agent named Tom Mangan, about what was going on inside that apartment as the bomb squads were trying to clear it. This is what Tom told us.
You know, Mike, there's no doubt in my mind that these devices were placed there purposefully with the full intent to murder and seriously injure first responders, be it police, fire, that came to that residence. That's a fact.
That is a sentiment that was a sentiment that was certainly echoed by the police chief here in Aurora, Dan Oates, a guy who has been on the airwaves a lot the last couple of days, and he basically said what they're finding out about this young man's collecting of ammunition and weaponry and then putting all of this stuff in his apartment, clearly a deliberate, calculated sort of effort, and making certainly a sort of statement, I think, publicly what they're going to go to court with, that this was very much a premeditated act. The police chief and the law officers talking about this case indicating that this is something that this young man allegedly has been plotting for months now in accumulating all of these devices and all of this weaponry. So the investigation now really into the homicides beginning last night at that apartment, trying to find out inside that apartment, perhaps get some indication as to the still unanswered, the very big question, and that of course is why.
Hey Mike, aside from the booby traps and the bombs set up at the apartment complex, we're hearing here in the valley that everything that he purchased, all the arsenal was actually legally purchased. Is that what you're finding out as well there in Colorado?
Yeah, and the police chief has said as much. They've tracked this this material to the best of their ability already, and it does not appear that Mr. Holmes went out and did something illicit. I mean, there's clearly questions being raised. This one person can buy all of this, accumulate this legally. There are people who think that that's wrong, and those are the debates we're going to be hearing on the talk shows for months to come. But the bottom line, the chief says it does not appear that he violated the law in making any of these purchases through the internet or at gun stores in this area, and so this is. But, you know, Tom Mangan makes the point, many of those materials, once you start putting them together in explosive devices that may have been inside, that's illegal.
Yeah.
Some of that, once you start compiling things that you can
Right.
buy legally, but you put them together, it suddenly becomes a violation. But those are sort of secondary charges. Clearly, the main focus now is to build the homicide, and it's undoubtedly going to be a capital case, build a capital homicide case against this young man, James Holmes.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
That's not surprising at all. Mike Walkus, thank you so much. We'll see you throughout the show.
Yeah,
We
thank you,
appreciate
Mike.
your being there. Well, one of the victims in the shooting was a man who grew up right here in Phoenix. 24-year-old Alex Tevez, as you heard Mike mention, lived in Denver but graduated from Desert Vista High School in Ahwatukee. We're told he went to see The Dark Knight Rises with his girlfriend and another friend. He also graduated from the University of Denver just last month, getting a master's degree in counseling psychology, and then he was also a graduate of the U of A. In fact, we're hearing he loved basketball. This is video of him making a three-pointer for a contest during a halftime event at the U of A basketball game 2.5 years ago. And the latest development as for this morning, what is happening today, President Obama set to visit with families of survivors, families of victims. We'll be tracking that and, of course, tracking this tragic story throughout the days to come, bringing the very latest from live reports with Mike Walkus throughout the show. You can always head to our website as well, azfamily.com.
Look at this. You probably didn't miss this at all. If you looked out your window or went outside, a huge wall of dust passing through the valley yesterday evening. Many drivers caught off guard by this dust storm. Luckily, we're being told no reports of any serious damage. This video here, shot in Tempe, shows just how the dust was rolling in. Then rain fell following the dust storm in many areas of the valley, including Gilbert and Mesa, causing slick roads for drivers. One man says he left his windows open, and now the inside of his truck is an absolute mess.
Kind of blew through and destroyed my car.
This is not my favorite weather, but one of the prices you pay. Uh-oh, there goes your hat.
I think a lot of things got knocked over. In fact, the basketball hoop at my house I came home was completely knocked over and on the ground, inches from my dad's car.
Oh, that's good. At least it missed the car.
Isn't that cool? I love the time lapse.
We haven't heard of major damage, but certainly a lot of debris that was flying around. Brittany, this thing was pretty huge once again.
Well, the other thing was we saw wind gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour right at South Mountain, and then at the airport. We saw wind gusts at 50 miles per hour. So we definitely saw powerful wind speeds. We saw that tall wall of dust move through the valley. It made it all the way into the West Valley, which sometimes it starts to break down in central Phoenix. Let's take a look at how your day is going to break down today. 103 degrees on your Sunday. By Monday, 101. And then on Tuesday, 102 degrees. We are going to see a chance of showers continuing for the rest of the weekend. Heading into your Tuesday, I'll have your rainfall totals and your 7-day forecast coming up in a little bit.
.709, a new overnight, a man recovering after he fell off the side of a mountain. This all happened at Echo Mountain around 2 a.m. this morning. Police say the man was base jumping when his small parachute hit the side of the mountain. He actually fell about 40 feet down. Luckily, he was able to call for help.
It was a little bit of a tough rescue because there was a small place where there was a rock there and they couldn't get over it. So what they had to do is they had to climb over it, get to the hiker, make sure he was okay, and then they had to put him in a basket and then had to hand carry him, where they had a bunch of manpower, just people holding him and bringing him down to the base of the mountain.
Quite the rescue. He was taken to the hospital. We're hearing he may have broken both his legs. Meanwhile, one person is dead after this serious crash on I-17 near Anthem. It happened yesterday afternoon when DPS officials say a car crossed over the lanes and then crashed into another vehicle. 4 people in all rushed to the hospital. Sadly, one person did not make it. The northbound lanes of the I-17 were temporarily shut down as they tried to clear this. Authorities have not yet identified the victims.
This morning, Phoenix police are looking for the suspect in a deadly shooting. This is something we first brought you yesterday morning. The shooting happened at an apartment complex near 17th Avenue and Glendale. Officers tell us the suspect has gotten into some sort of fight with a 23-year-old named Jeremiah Cole and his cousin Isaiah Cassidy. Well, when he started, that's when the shooting started. Police said the cousins had been drinking. Cole died at the scene. Cassidy was taken to the hospital but later released. He says he's never seen the shooter before.
And he just came out of nowhere and shot me. He shot me first, and then he shot my cousin in the chest. And then we tried to turn around and run. He shot me again in the back of my leg. And then he shot my cousin 2 times in the back.
Detectives say they're still working on a good description of that suspect. A man who stabbed a woman in Chandler several times is on the loose this morning. Police were called out to a Circle K at Elliott and Dobson yesterday. Found a woman with several stab wounds on her back. Sabrina Espanillo told police she went to go visit her ex-boyfriend, Victor Jacome, but when she went to leave, that's when he attacked her. We're told she's expected to be okay after all of this, but if anybody has any information on where Jacome could be, they are asked to call the authorities.
Getting closer to back to school time, so one Phoenix 6-year-old is doing her part to help other kids get the supplies they need. Maylee Negretti told her father she wanted to help those less fortunate who might not be able to afford everything they need for school. So she wanted to round up supplies, and the Arizona Children's Association heard what she was up to, so they pitched in. The 6-year-old able to raise the money to buy dozens of backpacks and lots of school supplies.
We're gonna go to a donation center that we can get to kids that don't have this stuff.
I was certainly brought up in a household where we didn't have a whole bunch, and so to be in a situation where, you know, my little girl wants to give back is it's kind of coming full circle. It's really neat.
Oh my gosh, how cute is she? Maylee said she also wanted to thank her cousins for helping her. They were stuffing all the backpacks, as you can see right there.
That's pretty cute.
That is pretty darn cute coming from a 6-year-old. Still ahead here, a great show for you. We are just starting up, and don't forget, we'll have the very latest in sports. An exciting night, of course, from the D-backs game last night.
Also, we're talking about a look here at the statue of a legendary football coach coming down in disgrace.
And a little later on, how the town of Greer is doing 1 year after their town was hit by the Wallow fire, and why they're saying next weekend you'll want to head out there.
And then Brittany will be back with a look at your full weekend forecast and what to expect the rest of this week on this beautiful Sunday morning.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday to you. The D-backs signing of Jason Kubel last offseason barely created a national ripple. That was misguided. Kubel's bat continues to be a weapon of mass destruction. He now leads the National League in RBIs after an epic performance last night. How epic against the Astros? This epic. Let's pick it up in the first inning. Kubel with Aaron Hill aboard, and there it goes, opposite field. Kubel's first of the night. Remember, he had 2 home runs in a game 4 nights ago in Cincinnati. Next at bat, 4th inning, 2 men on. D-backs now up 4-1. We'll make it 7-1. Kubel, another multi-homer game. There's number 2, but wait, there's more. Move to the 6th inning. Kubel, there it goes again. Solo shot here. Kubel's 20th homer on the year. His National League leading 70th RBI, then back to the dugout for the silent treatment. Well played, D-backs. Kubel then final at bat. You got to go for 4. He did, but no dice. Wade Miley's rookie record 11th win as the D-backs roll 12-3. They'll go for the sweep later today. Shane Doan in New York to make his first free agent visit. Did it with the Rangers on Friday. But before Coyote Nation crumbles here, Doan was already in New York for CBA talk, so he probably figured, what the heck. Round 3 of the British Open. Round 4 already underway, but we take you back to what happened on Saturday. Don't ask. Don't ask. Tiger Woods, a couple bogeys to begin his round, but a 50-foot birdie here helped him to even par and hop back into contention. Tiger even par on the day, 5 shots back of that man, Adam Scott. A birdie here at 8. Scott began the day 11 under. Brent Snedeker 3 over today, 4 shots back or yesterday. Again, final round coming up a little bit later on today. That'll do it for me. Have a great Sunday, everybody. We'll see you next time.
All right, thanks a lot, Tim. The statue of late Penn State football coach Joe Paterno no longer outside the campus football stadium. The statue has been causing plenty of controversy since the child rape scandal first came out against former assistant coach Jerry Sandusky. Now, early this morning, Penn State employees began fencing off the statue, covering the area with the tarp. The 900-pound bronze statue outside Beaver Stadium will be stored in a secure location, we're being told. That's not the only tribute to Paterno on the Penn State campus. The university library is named after him, but that, we're told, won't be changing or turning down. Well, Arizona Cardinal Sam Acho is hitting the podium this morning instead of the field. The second-year linebacker speaking at Portico Church in Queen Creek at 10 o'clock this morning. Acho will talk about his faith and mission work and how he balances that with a life of NFL football. If you'd like to catch Acho speak, the church meets at Skyline Ranch Elementary School on Santan Hills Drive near Gary Road. Well, it was quite a day outside for our weather here if you got caught up in the dust storm, and then some rain afterward, which in my opinion was welcomed.
It is welcome because we're still below our yearly average with the rainfall, but we saw a lot of activity yesterday with that dust and rainfall that came through the valley. Let's go ahead and show you right now our valley rain list, or really this is just outside of the valley, some of these locations, but New River almost 2 inches yesterday. Peoria over 1 inch of rainfall, same thing in Cave Creek. In Phoenix at Desert Hills Wash, we saw 6,700ths of an inch of rain. And then in Wickenburg, 6,300ths of an inch. So pretty impressive there. We also have a few of our valley rainfall totals, but we'll get to those later. Highs around the valley right now. Or I guess that was yesterday. That's the wrong map. There we go. 84 degrees outside right now at Sky Harbor with winds out of the east at 8 miles per hour. Also, our humidity is at 58%. And then our currents across the valley at 84 degrees in Scottsdale, 85 in Mesa, 84 in Tempe, downtown Phoenix at 83 degrees, 78 in Peoria and in Anthem. And then we're also checking out locations in the 80s. The good thing is that yesterday we saw temperatures drop down into the 70s. So that was great once that rainfall moved through the valley. Your currents across the state, 77 degrees in Page, 58 in Flagstaff, 67 in Prescott, 88 in Yuma right now, and it's still going to be a pretty hot day. Triple digits expected. We have a lot of leftover moisture, so expect to see muggy conditions this morning, a few scattered showers as we're checking out the radar, and definitely a cloudy start to your morning throughout Phoenix We're going to keep a chance of showers in the forecast today, and your highs around the state will be similar to what we saw yesterday. Chance of thunderstorms for us. We'll see a high of 103 degrees on your Sunday, and then your 7-day forecast shows that chance of showers sticking with us all the way till Wednesday, and then we get a little bit warmer Thursday through next weekend when we return to our seasonal norms, and our overnight lows will stay in the 80s as well. So a recap of today, 103 degrees with a chance of showers, especially as we head into the afternoon.
All right, thank you very much, Brittany. Well, much more to come here on Good Morning Arizona. Coming up next, the town of Greer wants you to know they're standing strong a year after the massive wildfire forced residents to evacuate. We'll tell you about a big festival they're holding coming up on Good Morning Arizona.
Welcome back, everyone. It was last summer that the White Mountain town of Greer was hit by that massive wallow fire. 1 year later, everyone there wants to let you know, hey, Greer is still here, still green, and next weekend they are kicking off the Kick Ash Bash Music Festival. How to be careful to say one because if you slip a tongue could be the wrong word. Alan Johnson joining us this morning. He's the board president of the Greer Wallow Fire Recovery Fund and also the co-owner of the Molly Butler Lodge, which you were just telling me is the oldest cabin, oldest lodge here in the state of Arizona.
Well, it's 102 years old, yes.
That
oldest lodge
awesome.
in Arizona. Yeah.
You know, we look back 1 year later, we remember how devastating the wildfire is, and people always think, oh, we can't go up there, it's going to be different. It's not. But you say, you know what, it is just as beautiful as it has always been. Oh,
absolutely. And a lot of the burn backs actually created a lot more fluorescent green of the grasses and everything else. But, you know, Greer was hardly even affected at all. We had one mountainside real up high that some of the pine trees got burned. We lost a few homes in Greer, but, you know, the entire White Mountains and the drive up to Greer is absolutely gorgeous.
I was just up in the Pine Top Sholo area, and I know you said it was about 30 minutes further. How is everyone reeling from the business, the summertime boom?
Yeah, it's coming back. I think it's, you know, last year we put on the Kick Ash Bash as a way to let everybody know that we're still there, still green. And the more and more people are coming up, you're hearing all the same stories that, wow, this is still the beautiful paradise of Arizona. So And it's absolutely gorgeous.
The little gem, expecting 3 times of a crowd this year. Tell us what we can expect at the Kick Ash Bash event this coming weekend.
Yeah, this coming weekend starts on Friday through Sunday. There's many different activities throughout Greer, but the main thing is the music festival that's being put on. We've got over 40 musicians throughout Arizona. Some are very notable musicians, such as Mary Hoffman, Blaze Lantana. We've got a couple, about 4 different bands coming up, Desert Thunder, and they're all coming up on their dime, and
That's awesome.
They're looking forward to it. So, but they're donating their time, and then there's a very large barbecue that we put on to help raise funds. There's a community auction. There's a fishing derby. Just a lot of fun family activities. So, it's going to be. Oh, we got Wild West shootouts, kids for kids on Friday and Saturday on the stage.
So it's whole family fun and get out
Absolutely,
of the hot weather if you're down here in the valley.
The average temperatures up in Greer are 70 degrees. So.
Let's go. I'll go back with you right now. Is there still room at the Molly Butler Lodge for folks?
We do still have some cabins available, and throughout Greer, there's other companies that have cabins and lodging available, as well as the local White Mountain communities.
Okay.
Yes, there's still some availability.
Well, there you go. If you're looking to get away from the heat, again, it's next weekend. Head on over to Greer. Enjoy the music festival. Enjoy all the weekend fun for the family.
Right.
Thank you so much, Alan. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you. We're looking forward to it, and we appreciate everything, all the support.
Glad to hear you guys are doing well and recovering.
Come visit us, folks.
There you go. Still ahead here on Good Morning Arizona. Stay with us. We, of course, continue to cover the developments in Colorado. Plus, why movie studios have agreed not to release a certain box office number for the weekend. We'll talk about that too coming up, and we'll check in with Brittany. Already 84 degrees with a lot of humidity out there. Our next chance of monsoon rains, she'll let us know when we come back.
Welcome back, everybody. Hope you're having a great start to your Sunday here. 30 minutes into the show. Plenty of more to talk about here.
Yes. We had fun at the D-Bass game. Had a little get-together with people from work. Company bought us all tickets, and we hung out with our families. It was so much fun.
D-backs won.
And
Big
almost
time.
made a record with Kubel. I know, he's doing awesome, leading the league in RBIs right now. So we'll catch up with more of the sports highlights a little later on. We're also talking about the monsoon because another chance for rains later on. Yesterday's dust storm, pretty impressive.
Pretty impressive.
It was,
and then
yeah.
we also saw thunderstorms. We saw wind gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour throughout the valley, and then even about 2 inches of rainfall just to the north of town in New River. So a lot of activity yesterday, and your currents this morning in the 70s and 80s, 78 degrees in Peoria, 84 in Scottsdale, temperatures in Mesa at 85 degrees, 79 in Chandler, and then Maricopa right now at 80 degrees. Today's high 103 with a chance of afternoon storms at 30%. I'll let you know exactly what to expect coming up in your full 7-day forecast.
Today, President Obama will be visiting with victims as well as the survivors' families and the families of those who passed away in Colorado.
Yeah, that's right. We want to take you right out to Mike Watkiss, who's been following this for us up there in Colorado. Joins us again live this morning with the latest developments. Good morning, Mike.
Yeah, good morning, Ryan. Words like deliberate, calculating, meticulous, these are the words that are now being used to describe suspected mass killer James Holmes's activities in the last 4 or 5 months as he allegedly stockpiled ammunition, weaponry, and the explosive devices that we have now heard were in his apartment. We were at that apartment for much of yesterday as bomb squads were dismantling what they say was an arsenal of weapons inside. Clearly, they are making the case that this was very much a premeditated act on the part of this young man, as over the last 4 months he was buying weapons and ammunition, some of those materials being sent to his home, some of them being sent to his place of employment, the medical center and college here in the Denver area. So clearly the case being made that this was very much a planned attack on the part of this quiet, sort of nerdy young man. Like I say, much of our day spent outside his apartment in North Aurora as bomb squads and firefighters and the brave first responders in this community, with the support of federal agents and state agents, trying to dismantle what they say was sort of a booby-trapped apartment. Dan Oates, the police chief here in Aurora, addressed that sort of angrily yesterday, talking about the booby traps inside that apartment. This is what he had to say.
Make no mistake, okay, this apartment was designed, I say, based on everything I've seen, to kill whoever entered it, okay? And who was most likely to enter that location after he planned and executed this horrific crime? It was going to be a police officer, okay? So make no mistake about it, what was going on there. And if you think we're angry, we sure as hell are angry about what has happened to our city, what has happened to these wonderful people who live here, and also what he threatened to do to one of our police officers.
Yeah, I think that anger is more than understandable and justified. This on top of the anguish that continues to sort of wash this community. We're outside the theater. They've got a sign where people have been putting their names and condolences. There's a shrine over on the corner just out of camera sight, but it has been attracting people all night, all day long. And of course, as you mentioned, the president's scheduled to come in town and meet with victims and victims' families today, and then a big prayer vigil later tonight that is open to the community, open to all of the survivors. Anybody who feels like they need to be together, they need to sort of express their concerns and rally as a community. We see this whenever an American town is hit by a tragedy. There are people who step up. There are people who stepped up in that theater. There are people who are stepping up in this community now, trying to address these needs. But it is definitely a community that has been deeply wounded.
How large is the memorial grown? I imagine it will continue to grow in days to come. And where are you comparable to where the theater is? Are you right across the street still?
Theater is that brick wall you see behind me is right there where all of this happened, Tess. We've got this sign that was there, and Gibby, I don't know if you can do it with all the, we're in a CNN setup here, and Gibby moving our camera around some other cameras, but perhaps you can see it there. That has been the most visible memorial on that street corner, which is basically right across from the shopping mall where this movieplex is located. Bear in mind that most of this parking lot has been a crime scene for the last 3 days, so that was the closest lay folk, citizens could get to this to start establishing this memorial. And you see this so frequently. People need to have some expression. They need to get together, a place to congregate, a place to hug and cry, and to leave their messages. And you know, I can just tell you, reading the stories behind some of the victims, it breaks your heart.
Oh, yeah. I read in the newspaper. The father of the 6-year-old making a comment and said, "She is the last girl I will ever love," and it is heartbreaking, these stories that continue to come out as we hear about those affected by this. Thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
We'll see you in a little bit once again. As Mike was mentioning, President Obama will be in Aurora later today, and he'll be meeting with the families of the 12 victims and Aurora police who continue to head up this investigation with the FBI. A memorial service also scheduled from 5:30 this evening, our time. Some news outlets are reporting the president may be at that memorial as well. He's only expected to be in Colorado for about 2.5 hours before moving on to his scheduled campaign stops in California, Oregon, and Washington.
Well, in the wake of the tragedy in Aurora, movie studios have agreed to forego releasing box office numbers for the weekend. Sony, Fox, Disney, Universal announced yesterday they had made the decision in solidarity with Warner Brothers, which is the distributor for the new Batman movie, The Dark Knight Rises. Warner Brothers also canceled cast appearances in Mexico and Japan, also pulled trailers for the upcoming film Gangster Squad, which includes a depiction of gangsters firing guns in a movie theater. Well, a movie theater in Florida was evacuated this weekend just before people were about to see The Dark Knight Rises. A person sent this video in to CNN from outside of the theater in Sunrise, which is north of Miami. He says moviegoers were told the evacuation was prompted by a broken sprinkler. He says it was chaotic inside the theater, as you can imagine, but people seemed calm once they got outside and learned what it was about.
As people come to grips with the horrific tragedy in Aurora, Friday today also marks the anniversary of another massacre. 1 year ago was the bomb attack and mass shooting in Norway. You may remember Anders Breivik admitted to killing 69 people during a rampage at a youth camp and setting up a bomb in Oslo that killed another 8 people. His trial ended last month, the verdict expected to be delivered on August 24th. Cutbacks in state funding are now forcing Valley schools to find new ways to cover costs. 2 districts in Phoenix and in Cave Creek are changing their facility rental fees. That will likely have a big impact on some of the biggest facility users, like youth sports leagues. Huge variations in the rates that districts charge mean some teams pay big rents while others nearby pay nearly nothing. The districts say they need to recoup the money they spent on irrigation, air conditioning, and maintenance. The Arizona Diamondbacks proposing a deal that would give them more control of Chase Field. The deal would transfer stadium ownership from Maricopa County to the city of Phoenix. Team officials say transferring control of the stadium would allow the Diamondbacks to stage more non-baseball events to help boost revenue. Team execs say they plan benefits to benefit everyone involved, but some are worried the deal is financially risky for city taxpayers and said it would only lead to higher ticket prices for all the fans.
The city of Phoenix remains the 6th largest in the U.S. New estimates from the U.S. Census Bureau shows Phoenix added just over 23,000 people from April the 1st in 2010 to July 1st, 2011. But the city still trails the nation's 5 largest cities, of course, New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Houston, and Philadelphia, respectively. Phoenix's estimated population grew 1.6%, now at around 1,460,000.
Senator John McCain is about to join Prime Time. Did you hear about this? Yeah. He's actually set to appear in an episode of NBC's Parks and Recreation. The comedy, set in a small town in Indiana, will air a special Beltway episode next week. It features 3 notable U.S. senators, McCain, Olympia Snowe, and Barbara Boxer. The trio will appear in a cocktail party scene with Amy Poehler. This should be funny. The former Republican presidential nominee is no stranger to the entertainment world. You may remember he previously appeared on Saturday Night Live in the midst of his ailing presidential bid. So this should be a good one.
You know what? Every weekend we talk to you through Facebook here. You can find us at R. O'Donnell or Ryan O'Donnell, however you want to search for it there on Facebook. What do you want to talk about this morning? The
what
weather,
I want to talk about this morning?
Maybe the weather?
Yeah, continue sending your pictures. A lot of folks sending your pictures. Just send us your thoughts. Send us what you're doing today.
Yeah.
We love hearing about
I got
that.
a lot of pictures from people taking pictures of just the dust storm coming in, and great shots, great pictures from everybody. Thank you for that, and keep sending them, please.
Stay with us, folks. Coming up next, a look at some of the events happening around the Valley in the week ahead, including Cardinals camp. I know, we're starting Cardinals camp already.
Good. Football needs to start. Also, why bus riders should double check their routes before heading out tomorrow morning. Could be changing. We'll explain when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. Changes are coming to Valley Metro bus routes, and our Arizona Cardinals are finally hitting the field. Those are just a couple of things that are happening in the week ahead here. Valley Metro transit changes will take effect tomorrow. This will affect more than 35 local routes and 19 express bus routes. Valley Metro advises passengers to check online at valleymetro.org to see all of the changes. The Metro Light Rail schedule will not be affected. Football season almost underway. On Tuesday, the Cardinals report in Flagstaff for training camp. The team will hit the field to train at NAU up there. First practice is Wednesday at 3 o'clock. A series of workshops coming to the Valley to help folks prevent foreclosures. The Choices workshops will bring together bankruptcy attorneys and realtors so homeowners can explore all of their available options. Now, the first workshop is on Wednesday. It'll be at the Harkins Theater in Arizona Mills from 6 until 8 p.m. Also on Wednesday, job seekers can head over to the Biltmore Embassy Suites for a career fair. There'll be a number of employees, including Liberty Mutual, Terminex, Staples, and AutoNation. They're all hiring for sales, retail, and management positions. Excuse me, the fair will run from 9 a.m. until 12:30. And then on Thursday, Arizona Corporation Commissioner Sandra Kennedy will be honored in Phoenix at an event meant to celebrate Women Breaking Barriers in Arizona. Kennedy served in the state legislature for 12 years and was elected to the Arizona Corporation Commission back in 2008. She's the second highest ranking African American elected official west of the Mississippi. Very cool. The time right now is 7:45 here on Good Morning Arizona. We're going to send it over to Brittany, who we just got a sneak peek there of what you're going to talk about. The dust storm we all felt yesterday.
Yeah, we saw a big wall of dust move through the valley, started off in the east and southeast valley, through central Phoenix into the west valley. And here is some great video. You can see how tall that wall of dust was, about 2,000 feet. And it continued for a few hours. We saw a dust storm warning in effect until about 7 p.m. Central Phoenix and the West Valley also seeing blowing dust. This is 48th Street and McDowell, so folks out there have to slow down depending on where they were heading. We also saw powerful wind gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour. Even at Sky Harbor, we saw peak wind gusts at 50 miles per hour, and then we saw a little bit of rainfall. And here's some of our rainfall totals. Pretty impressive near Anthem and Deer Valley. 4,300ths of an inch in Mesa and in Scottsdale, 1/5 of an inch in Apache Junction and in Queen Creek. Just over 1/3 of an inch in Gilbert, 1/4 of an inch there in Tempe, 1,200ths of an inch in downtown Phoenix. We also saw a little bit of rainfall here in the West Valley, Peoria, 1/4 of an inch and 400ths of an inch in Surprise. So we are going to see another chance today. We have a 30% chance of afternoon showers. And around Arizona right now, we're at 73 degrees in Safford, 63 in Window Rock, 68 in Show Low. Temperatures in Winslow at 67 degrees, 77 in Page. Mid-60s at the South Rim, 58 in Flagstaff. Conditions in Prescott at 67 degrees, and we're in the mid-70s. And Kingman, a few clouds out this morning throughout the state. 88 degrees in Yuma, 84 in Buckeye, and then 81 degrees in Casa Grande. We still have a lot of moisture left over Arizona, and so that's why we'll see another chance of thunderstorms, not only today, but heading into your Monday and even Tuesday. Expect to see cloudy skies throughout most of today, and then that decent chance of showers as we get into the afternoon. A few scattered showers right now on our satellite radar in the Page area, but just cloudy skies for us this morning. Your highs around the state today at 109 degrees in Lake Havasu, 103 in Bullhead City and in Yuma, 99 degrees in Kingman, 94 in Sedona, 80 degrees the high in Flagstaff, 90 in Payson, and then 104 in Maricopa. We'll see temperatures in Tucson at 96 degrees. Chance of thunderstorms heading into the afternoon at 30%, and then we'll see a high of 103 today. Your 7-day forecast shows chance of showers continuing all the way until Wednesday. We start to dry out a little bit on Thursday. Temperatures return to our seasonal norm. We're just a few degrees below the average for today and tomorrow. Once again, a high of 103 degrees, and then another round is possible today with that 30% chance of showers, Ryan.
Good, I hope so. I really enjoy the rain coming through here because it changes all the dynamics in the desert.
Yeah, yesterday I was able to turn off the air conditioning, open a window, get a little fresh air going, so it feels good.
Nice. All right, thank you very much, Brittany. Still ahead here on Good Morning Arizona, how one Valley organization is working to make the streets safer after their families were hurt by red light runners.
Side of the camera. Me? Deanna Jordan.
Maria Wojcik.
Thank you. Just wanted to check the mics. Good. So do I. We'll see. I ended up doing makeup for Congressman Shadegg during the last election, and his office actually was helpful to me when Stephen died. Okay. So.
Mike fell.
Oh. Come on, baby.
Here. We have to have it here.
Okay.
Oh, here she comes.
I hear her footsteps.
How are you? You must be Maria. Are you
Hi,
Maria?
I'm Maria.
Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Watch.
Wojciech.
Wojciech.
Right.
You have to have that crazy spelling.
Yes, it is.
Hi, how are you? Did you know that we were friends? And
No,
knew
I
each
had
other?
no idea.
Yeah,
No.
isn't that funny?
Well, and then she's going, Lesley Pena. I go, no, it's Carrie Pena.
They have the pictures. Should be good to go. Welcome back, everyone. In today's Community Corner, we want to shine light on a local nonprofit organization that just started up, dedicated to saving lives through development of new and safer drivers. The organization is called Red Means Stop, and it was started by several families whose children were victim of red light runners. This morning, we're joined by Maria Wojciech from Red Means Stop and also Deanna Jordan. She's actually a military widow who will be the first to enroll her triplet sons in this new scholarship program. Thank you, ladies, for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Maria, let's start off with, tell me a little bit about Red Means Stops, what you guys are trying to do here and why it benefits families like Deanna's.
Well, Red Means Stop is an organization that's been around for it's been around almost 11, 12 years. But recently we decided to really create a, excuse me, a scholarship program for young drivers, because one of the things, we've got to teach drivers to be safer and more responsible out there. And so this program is really designed to do that, to really create a new generation of safe and responsible young drivers.
And we've seen the numbers of teen drivers
Yes.
and their involvement in accidents, and unfortunately many fatal ones as well. And that's why this program is so important, with just getting them the knowledge that they need. Deanna, just recently you had to figure out how to get your boys, all three of them, when they turn 16 years old. How am I going to do driver's ed? It's expensive.
It's really expensive. When I went to school, it was at high school, so I kind of assumed it was, and it's not. And yeah, I've been widowed for 12 years. I have 16-year-old triplet boys, and that was like the scariest thing I could ever think of, was handing them the keys and saying, see ya. So it's been a adventure to try and get to this point, because it's very expensive. Just found out our benefits are stopping unexpectedly, so it's really been an adventure. And I had called Maria and inquired about her program and was like, wow, it's an amazing program, but there's just no way that I could even ever fathom.
We're looking at pictures right now. What is this? Because it's different from driver's ed that I remember, which was follow a book and then head out in a car. Maria, how is this different and so unique to the country?
Well, it's a new program. We've been around for 9 years. Driving MBA has been around for 9 years, and we use a combination of simulation and on-road instruction and a little bit of classroom, but it's all hands-on training for them, so that they're learning in a safe environment, so they can make a mistake and then we can replay and say, okay, what could you have done differently in that situation?
And Deanna, how are your boys doing it? They've already started this.
They just started, and it's fabulous, because it shows them how much they don't know, because it's scary. Oh my gosh, I wish I could take this training. The things, seriously, the things that they're going to be teaching them, and the hazards that they experience. And I've never had a tire blow out on me, and they get to experience all that good stuff on a simulator.
They actually feel that, Maria?
Yeah, I mean, we've got 2 levels of simulation. The one you saw there is the beginner, because the boys are just learning how to drive. But as their skills build, we've got a more advanced simulator where they're learning defensive driving skills. So like Deanna said, they'll experience a tire blowout. They don't feel it, but they see it, and you get that visceral, oh my God, kind of happening, and a collision happens in front of you. So
that they can prepare if anything awful would happen like that. And that's what's so great about this organization that's trying to make a difference. Deanna, without them, you would not have this for your boys. More importantly, you would not have the security of knowing you feel a little better once they are out on the roads and driving with their licenses.
Absolutely. That is like the scariest thing. I feel like I would be doing them a disservice trying to do it myself. I mean, I'm one person. I have 3 of them. You have to have so many hours of driving, and when we go out and practice with 3 of them, it's quite the adventure.
And anyways, I hear you should never be in the car with your child when you're trying to teach them anyway.
We're also doing a parent class, so Deanna and maybe her parents who will be working with the boys will come so that we can help prepare them to be better coaches out there because they've got to practice with them.
Before we go, Maria, how can people get involved? Because you guys are just growing this. You want to help more families like the Jordans.
Yes. The best way is to donate. We need to be able to develop to get the funding in order to be able to do this for families like Deanna's.
Awesome.
So you can find us on redmeatstop.org and contact us and donate.
We'll make it real easy and put a link on azfamily.com on our hotline for this Sunday. Deanna, Maria, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having us.
I don't even want to get to the triplets driving one day. If you know someone making a difference, we want to hear from you. We'd love to share their story. You can write me on Facebook, facebook.com/Tess Raffles, or different ways you can find us on Twitter at Tess3TV, and always on azfamily.com. Ryan, you're going to be at a driving parent before I am. So are you ready? Are you ready?
You know, I'm ready for him to take Justin around, and so that we don't have to do it. But
spoken like a dad.
Very nervous.
Oh gosh. Well, you'll have to learn more about this program. Maybe get the boys involved in it.
Yeah, because I don't think just playing video games works the same
No,
way.
definitely not.
No. All right. Thanks, Tess. Well, we're just getting warmed up here on Good Morning Arizona. Coming up next here, Mike Watkis will be back live from Colorado with the latest details on the horrific theater shooting from up there. Also, what former state senator Russell Pierce has to say about the victims in the shooting. You might be shocked at what he had to say. Plus, how movie theaters are planning to raise security measures in hopes of preventing something like this from happening again. Of course, Brittany will be back with a look at your weekend forecast when Good Morning Arizona returns.
Lord, help me get